Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Great Suitcase Robbery. Remember the good old days of flying? You'd show up, hand over a suitcase the size of a small refrigerator, and the airline would just take it for free. It was part of the ticket. You were traveling, obviously you needed clothes. But then 2008 happened. Oil prices spiked, the economy took a nosedive, and American Airlines had a light bulb moment. They became the first major carrier to charge $15 for a checked bag. They claimed it was a desperate measure to survive high fuel costs. Just temporary, they surely implied, with fingers crossed behind their backs. Well, surprise. Fuel prices went down, but the fees, they went up. Now you're looking at $30 to $35 just to bring your underwear on vacation. Other airlines saw American making bank and immediately jumped on the bandwagon. By 2019, US airlines were raking in over $5 billion a year just from bag fees. It's essentially a ransom payment for your own pants. Imagine if a restaurant charged you for the plate your food came on. That's the airline industry today. Number 9. Paying for the stuff in the toilet. If aliens came down to Earth and saw us paying $3 for a bottle of water when we have taps in our houses that dispense it for fractions of a penny, they'd leave immediately. They'd assume there's no intelligent life here. Back in the day, if you were thirsty, you found a water fountain. But in the 1970s, companies realized that with the invention of cheap PET plastic, they could package water and sell it as a lifestyle product. They launched massive ad campaigns, essentially gaslighting the public into thinking tap water was gross, dangerous peasant juice, while their bottled water was pure, mountain-sourced nectar. The reality: a huge chunk of bottled water is just filtered tap water, the same stuff coming out of your kitchen sink, just with a fancy label and a 3,000% markup. Yet, the industry is now worth over $200 billion. The irony is that municipal tap water is often more strictly regulated than the bottled stuff. You are literally paying for the convenience of creating plastic waste. Genius marketing? Yes. Absolutely infuriating? Also, yes. Number 8. Renting a sliver of asphalt. Imagine owning a car in the early 20th century. You drove downtown, you saw a spot, you parked. Done. The street belonged to the people. It was the Wild West of parking. But apparently, it was also chaotic, with people leaving their cars in prime spots for days like they were abandoned furniture. Enter Carl McGee. In 1935, this guy invented the parking meter to solve the traffic jam in Oklahoma City. And oh boy, did people hate it. They called it un-American to pay for public space. Some people were so mad they probably tried to fight the meters. But here's the kicker: it worked. It forced people to move their cars, creating turnover so businesses could get new customers. And crucially, it made the city a boatload of money. Once other cities saw that sweet, sweet coin rolling in, the idea spread like wildfire. Now, we all accept that renting a 6 by 12 foot patch of concrete for an hour is just part of life. Thanks, Carl. You organized the streets, but you also doomed us to a lifetime of hunting for quarters under the floor mats. Number 7. The solution to the problem they created. YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube right now. Hi, YouTube. Please don't demonetize me for this. Once upon a time, this platform was a lawless wasteland of cat videos and copyrighted anime clips, and it was entirely ad-free. Then came the small ads, banners, sidebars, manageable stuff. But slowly, the temperature turned up. Pre-roll ads, then unskippable pre-roll ads, then 2 unskippable pre-roll ads, then mid-roll ads interrupting a sentence. And then the glorious solution arrived: YouTube Premium. For a monthly fee, you could make the annoyance go away. It's the classic create a problem, sell the solution tactic. It's like someone poking you in the forehead repeatedly and then asking for $5 to stop. By 2023, over 80 million people had subscribed. And look, it works. But we have to acknowledge the genius of taking a free user experience, breaking it with interruptions, and then charging you to fix it. Plus, even with premium, you still get the YouTuber doing a 60-second spot for VPNs or hair loss cream. There is no escape. Number 6. The horse armor that ruined gaming. If you're a gamer, you know the pain of DLC, downloadable content. But do you know the patient zero of this epidemic? It was 2006, and the game was The Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion. Bethesda released a DLC pack that gave your in-game horse a set of shiny armor. It cost $2.50. The armor was purely cosmetic. It didn't even make the horse invincible. The gaming community laughed. Who would pay for virtual horse clothes? We mocked. This will never catch on. We were so wrong. It turns out lots of people would pay. This opened the floodgates. Publishers realized they could chop up a finished game and sell it to you in pieces. Content that was already on the disc, already in the files you bought, was locked behind a paywall. Now we have season passes, loot boxes, and battle passes. You buy a $70 game and the main menu still looks like a shopping mall. It's like buying a cheeseburger and being told the cheese is a microtransaction. Number 5. Charging you to breathe. Into your tires. There was a time when gas stations were full-service havens. Attendants washed your windows, checked your oil, and yes, the air pump for your tires was free. It was a safety thing. You need inflated tires to not die. They had the air compressor. Simple social contract. But in the late 70s and 80s, the coin-operated air machine started creeping in. Station owners realized that air might be free, but the compressor costs electricity, so they outsourced it to third-party vending companies. Now, you pull up with a flat tire and you need $1.50 in quarters. Or worse, you have to swipe a credit card to inflate a tire. Some states actually have laws saying air must be free if you buy gas, but stations use every loophole in the book to hide this. The button to turn it on is usually hidden behind the counter, guarded by an attendant who acts like you're asking for the nuclear launch codes. We are literally paying for pressurized air. Next, they'll charge us for the gravity that keeps the car on the ground. Number 4. The because we can hotel fee. You book a hotel room online. The rate says $100 a night. Great deal, you think. You get to the checkout and suddenly it's $150. Why? Because of the dreaded resort fee. This scam started in Las Vegas in the 90s. Hotels wanted to advertise low room rates to look competitive on travel sites, but they still wanted to make money. So they stripped out the cost of the pool, the gym, and the Wi-Fi and bundled it into a mandatory daily fee. Key word, mandatory. Even if you don't swim in their questionable pool, even if you don't use their treadmill from 1985, and even if you never connect to the Wi-Fi, you pay. It's a hidden price hike, plain and simple. It also helps them cheat travel agents out of commissions and dodge certain taxes that only apply to room rates. It's the hotel equivalent of Ticketmaster fees. But instead of seeing a concert, you're just trying to sleep in a bed that isn't yours. Number 3. The high cost of the truth. The internet was supposed to be the great library of Alexandria, where all human knowledge was free to everyone. And for a while, it was. You could read news from anywhere, anytime. But in 1996, the Wall Street Journal looked at the internet and said, "Nah, pay me." They launched a paywall. At first, it was rare, but as print ad revenue died, every other major newspaper followed suit. Now, if you want to read high-quality, fact-checked investigative journalism, you have reached your article limit screen. Here's the dark irony though. While the truth is locked behind a credit card form, garbage is free. Conspiracy theories, clickbait, and fake news blogs don't have paywalls. They want you to read them. So we've created a society where verified information is a luxury product and misinformation is the free sample they're handing out at the grocery store. It's not just annoying, it's actually kind of dangerous. But hey, at least the fake news is budget friendly, right? Number 2. Buying your own cash. In the early 90s, ATMs were these magical boxes where you could get your money without talking to a human teller. And generally, they were free. You put your card in, you got cash out. It was a service banks provided to reduce lines inside. Then, independent operators realized they could stick an ATM in a bar or a convenience store and charge a convenience fee. People were willing to pay $1 to not walk 3 blocks to their bank. Banks saw this and their eyes turned into dollar signs. They started charging non-customers to use their machines. Then your own bank started charging you an out-of-network fee for using someone else's machine. You get hit from both sides. The average fee is now over $4.70. You are paying almost $5 to access your own money. That's like paying an entrance fee to get into your own house. It's a multi-billion-dollar revenue stream for banks, essentially generated by taxing you for not being near a specific branch. Number 1, outsourcing your feelings. And finally, at number 1, we have the industry built entirely on social guilt, the greeting card. Before 1843, if it was Christmas or a birthday, you wrote a letter. A nice, handwritten, personal letter expressing your feelings. It was free, it was thoughtful, and it was human. But then came Sir Henry Cole. This British civil servant was a popular guy with too many friends and too little time. He was drowning in unanswered mail. So, being lazy, or efficient, he hired an artist to design a generic holiday card, printed 1,000 of them, and just signed his name. He sold the leftovers for $1 each. And boom, he accidentally invented an industry. Now, instead of writing a heartfelt note, we go to the store, stand in the aisle for 20 minutes reading bad puns, and pay $6.99 for a piece of cardstock that says, "Happy Birthday" in glitter. We literally pay billions of dollars a year to let a corporation write our feelings for us. Sir Henry Cole didn't just save time, he monetized our laziness and social obligation forever. So there you have it. The world is basically a giant vending machine, and we're all just looking for loose change. It's amazing how much stuff we pay for just because someone, somewhere, had the audacity to ask for money, and we all just blinked and said, okay. If this list made you want to hide your wallet and go live in the woods, I don't blame you. But before you go off the grid, do something that is still genuinely 100% free. Hit that like button. Seriously, they haven't figured out how to charge you for that yet. And subscribe while you're at it, because if you don't, we might have to start charging a content consumption fee. Don't give them any ideas. See you next time.